Hello, and thanks for tuning into the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Joaquin Rogers at Channels Television here in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent McCory from the Voice of America in Washington, D.C.
Well, thanks. I'm Vincent McCory at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Joaquin Rogers in Lagos brings you that story.
Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State has stressed the need for government at all levels to prioritize agriculture as a pathway to achieving sustainable economic growth and stability, especially in the face of socio-economic challenges confronting different parts of the country. The governor stated this during a one-day agriculture conference organized by the Arewa think tank in the state capital.
Reorientation.
Understanding the importance of agriculture to national economic growth and development is the focus of this conference organized by the Arewa think tank in Kaduna State.
Let me single out for
the conference with the theme Agricultural Perspective of Nigeria in the Last 64 Years of Independence brings together policymakers and experts, including Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State, the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Martin Luther Agwai, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Dele Alake, and other top government officials.
the Executive Governor of Kaduna State.
Governor Sani underscores the importance of agriculture in reviving the nation's economy.
In our quest to transform Nigeria and give our people a new lease of life, we must give priority attention to agriculture. At the independence, agriculture was the mainstay of the Nigerian economy.
The governor also highlights the state's significant investment in agriculture, highlighting some of the successes recorded in the fight against insecurity and its impact on agriculture.
In 2025 budget, we allocated close to 10% of the total budget agricultural sector. Also, the steps being taken to tackle insecurity and violent crimes, especially in our rural areas, are yielding results.
Speakers at the conference highlight the importance of prioritizing agriculture and industrialization to boost the nation's economy.
We also know that there is security challenges. I'm glad that government at all levels are addressing squarely this issue of security.
With over 300 arrests and apprehensions conducted by these mining marshals, with several prosecutions of illegal miners apprehended ongoing, and in fact recording some convictions. It has only been possible because of the synergy that Mr. President has introduced and injected into his cabinet.
Agriculture is an ageless sector of the economy. Each time you touch agriculture, it's so vast, the value chain is inestimable. So that is why we have choosing that team.
The conference concludes with a call for deliberate steps to prioritize agriculture to drive economic growth, create jobs, curb insecurity, and ensure food security for the citizens.
Let's get more on this. Joining us to discuss the importance of agriculture to national economic growth is the President, National Ginger Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State, Gagarin Madaki. You're welcome to Africa 54. So understanding the importance of agriculture to national economic growth and development is the focus of the organizers of this conference. What do you think prompted the Arewa think tank group's decision to choose agriculture as the core of its conversation?
Well, thank you. At the risk of sound like I'm speaking for them, I will tell you that essentially Kaduna State and the North in general is agrarian. And if that is what is responsible for empowering, or rather employing or empowering, depending on which context you look at it from, the especially youths in the state and the North, the region in general, then it will make a lot more sense for them to be trying to put emphasis that agriculture must be taken a lot more seriously.
The conference brought together experts from the private and the public sectors to brainstorm on agriculture in Nigeria in the last 64 years. What will this gathering do differently from what has been the norm since Nigeria's independence that will guarantee food security and economic prosperity?
Well, I would like to say that from my personal point of view. Honestly speaking, I don't see much difference because a lot of the actors there, i.e., representative of state governments and, like you said, public sector people, have been known in the past to always come out, prepare speeches, and make rhetorics for us to listen to. But when they go back, I do not believe that they would make any general impact. And I'll tell you why. The certain people that would impact that sector were not invited for that conference. I mean, what was the impact? Are we looking at financing? Are you looking at technology? And how do you want to improve the financing? How do you want to improve the technology? The central banks should have been part of that discussion, and banks of industry, banks of, well, banks of agri should have been part of that discussion. You understand? And then we'll see things like this, and you now mention policies that will be introduced that will impact the sector. We're not okay, then maybe it might work. But there's nothing. What is the outcome of that? I don't believe, I won't hold my breath. That's the truth.
So the Minister of Solid Minerals, Mr. Dele Alake, was part of this agricultural revolution conference. Does the mining have any correlation with agriculture, or the conference is trying to highlight the importance of prioritizing agriculture and industrialization to boost the country's economy?
Okay, well, I'm not sure what was at the back of the organizers, but as an individual, I equally have a bit of a background in solid minerals. I've participated heavily in mining, and I can just from that tell you, if I were to, I'll tell you that I know that soil fertility and mineral composition, you know, many solid minerals such as phosphates, potash, and limestone are essentially for agriculture as they provide nutrients for the crops. And some minerals contribute to sustainable farming, though that's the positive slide, by enhancing the soil health and productivity, promoting organic farming, and improving resilience to climate change.
Beyond this conference, what do you think can be done to attract more people, especially the youths, to embrace agriculture?
Well, truthfully, you have to improve access to finance and land. You have to create a market-driven approach, connect agriculture to profitable value chains, like processing, packaging, and export. Organic farming for young farmers. Establish crowdfunding platforms or agribusiness investment groups to support youth-led farming ventures. Creating agripreneurs and agribusiness training, making people understand the business in agriculture. You need to provide a lot more of those training, and a lot of people don't see that important, so you may need to find a way to probably pay for their training, and then you can leverage on social media and branding, and then government and private sector support. Now, for government and private sector support, I can tell you that you can encourage policies that reduce barriers for youth in agriculture, such as tax incentives and subsidies. Now we're here again on the question of subsidies. The truth is that subsidies will do well, not fertilizer, please, in the crop itself. They produce the crop, you subsidize it before it gets to the market. That makes a bit more sense. It will encourage people to know that, all right, whatever it is we're buying, we know that there is an offtake for us, and we're going to be in business, and the government does not have to worry about selling it. They can subsidize it. That's just my own theory. Not everybody would agree with me. And we support youth-led cooperatives and pool resources and access larger markets. This will go a long way in helping more people be attracted to agriculture. Just my opinion, anyways.
President, National Ginger Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State, Gagari Madaki, thank you so much for your time today on Africa 54.
Donald Trump called for a revolution of common sense in his inaugural speech Monday. The 47th President of the United States swearing in marked his remarkable return to power since losing his second-term bid to Joe Biden in 2020. White House Bureau Chief Patsy Widakuswara has this report.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Donald Trump is sworn in as the 47th President of the United States.
So help me God.
He vowed to fulfill campaign promises and called for a revolution of common sense, including cracking down on illegal immigration.
I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. We will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
As in his 2017 inaugural address, Trump lamented the failures of his predecessor. He promised to slash the federal budget and roll back legal protections for transgender Americans.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Trump comes to power amid continuing conflict in Ukraine and a fragile ceasefire in Gaza.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
He repeated his intention to reclaim control of the Panama Canal.
China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
All living presidents attended the inauguration, along with foreign dignitaries from Argentina, China, and Italy, as well as tech billionaires and Trump donors Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg. Earlier on Monday, outgoing President Joe Biden hosted Trump for morning tea at the White House, despite the harsh words the two men have traded. It's one of many transfer of power traditions. Trump did not participate in any during Biden's 2021 inauguration. Trump has warned of retribution, and minutes before leaving office, Biden pardoned key figures in his administration and family members. Biden has called Trump a threat to democracy. On January 6, 2021, Trump supporters swarmed the Capitol to overturn Biden's 2020 victory. Trump has pledged to pardon some of those convicted.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents.
Also following tradition, Trump and his Vice President J.D. Vance attended a luncheon with members of Congress. He is entering office with his Republican Party holding the majority in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News, Washington.
The federal government has unveiled a national certification program aimed at training and certifying data protection officers in the country and bridging the knowledge gap that exists in Nigeria's data processing and protection ecosystem. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Mr. Bosun Tijani, unveiled the program in Abuja.
The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Mr. Bosun Tijani, is attending the unveiling of the National Certification Program for Data Protection Officers in Abuja. Anchored by the National Data Protection Commission, the program aims to equip participants with the requisite knowledge of the ever-evolving digital economy.
When we started as a commission, we actually carried out a survey of data controllers and processors in Nigeria. We told that in Nigeria we have over 500,000 data controllers and processors. The question we asked ourselves is now, do we have the people? Yes, we have the people. But do we have the skill? Especially in the data protection ecosystem, the fact that we don't have the skill.
The Inspector General of Police is represented by the Director of the National Cybercrime Center, who underscores the importance of data protection during criminal investigations.
For us investigators of cybercrime cases, you cannot work effectively without using data. Because whether you like it or not, you need companies, agencies of government need data to be able to plan, on how to carry on their yearly and daily activities.
Nigeria's digital economy is growing as experts project investment in the sector to hit $11.14 billion by the end of 2025. This projected growth also comes with additional responsibilities.
As we continue to invest in digital economy, knowing how important it is also our responsibility to protect our people from it. So this training program today is not yet another training program from this ministry, but a significantly important training program.
Available records at the National Bureau of Statistics show that the information and communication sector contributed about 20% growth to Nigeria's GDP in 2024. The government is hoping that additional investments in the sector will enhance further growth in the nation's economy.
Russia's mercenary Wagner group remains active even after the death of its leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin, in August of 2023. Russian experts say the group has been drawn closer to Kremlin power structures and is still fighting to advance Moscow's interests around the world. Matthew Kupfer has the story, narrated by Anne Rice.
Up until his death in August of 2023, Yevgeny Prigozhin was the leader and face of the mercenary Wagner group. In 2014, the group began sending thousands of mercenaries to fight for Russia's interest in Ukraine and the Middle East.
We saw a lot of close cooperation with the Ministry of Defense and other Russian institutions in places like Ukraine in 2014, in Syria.
The group also began operating in Africa. By the end of 2019, Wagner had offices in 20 African countries. Claims began to surface that Wagner was responsible for war crimes and the murder of African civilians.
But once you were getting to these places in sub-Saharan Africa, really there wasn't much of a Russian state presence except for Yevgeny Prigozhin's structures. And so Prigozhin and Wagner were very much actually creating what Russia's national interests in Africa in these places were.
But in June of 2023, Prigozhin's relationship with the Kremlin ended after he led a brief uprising against the Russian authorities. Just 2 months later, he died in a plane crash. Some analysts believe he was intentionally killed. Since then, the Kremlin integrated the Wagner group into the Russian military.
Over the last year and a half, we've seen Prigozhin's empire pulled apart into a variety of structures. Someone goes to the defense ministry, someone goes to the Russian National Guard, someone goes to Chechnya's Akhmat Special Forces, someone goes elsewhere.
Ukrainian analyst Maria Kucherenko says the changes point to the role of Russia's military intelligence, commonly known as the GRU, in Wagner.
From the very beginning till now, it was under the command of GRU, and actually nothing has changed when it comes to the main structure responsible for the existence and for the activity of this group.
Wagner no longer officially fights in Ukraine, but ex-mercenaries do. That conflict could determine the future role of Russian mercenaries abroad.
The Russian government will have a huge human resource of veterans who fought in this war, and they can probably be used in other, far-off conflicts.
For Matthew Kupfer in Washington, Anna Rice, VOA News.
The Cross River State government has provided food items and cash gifts to women across the 18 local government areas of the state. Speaking during the event in Calabar, the state capital, the wife of the governor explained that the outreach is necessary to support them to cater for their families.
Women in their numbers cut across the 18 local government areas of Cross River State have benefited from the state's distribution of food items and cash gifts to help them cope with the economic situation. According to the state government, the women have shown so much love and commitment to Otu's administration, and it's important to reciprocate their gesture.
I see doggedness, I see dedication, I see support, I see commitment, I see love, I see support. There is no other word than either thank you, I am grateful, or God bless. As Maria herself, to thank the wonderful women, the quintessential women, the delectable women, women of sense, belonging, the women with brains and capacity, the women with love, the women that have decided to bond and to unite, to come as a team, to make this possible.
The women are also taking through a lecture on various entrepreneurship skills and programs they can use to create jobs for themselves, as not all can be employed by the government.
We are believing that Cross River State should be the first to benefit from that program, which is why we are going to be very aggressive in organizing you, in training you, in profiling you, and in moving on to Bank of Industry.
They are overwhelmed by the state government's intervention. The representative who speaks on their behalf shows gratitude and promises that she and the other women will continue to do more to support the Otu administration.
You can see so many of us are appointed. So many of us commissioners, all we are there. And it's because of the love they have and the conviction that we are together working for them.
With this initiative, the Cross River State government says it's using this to demonstrate its commitment to the welfare of women and its determination to make a positive impact in the lives of citizens.
A group of Somali youths is working to protect the country's marine environment by organizing weekly beach cleanups in Mogadishu. Now, despite limited support, they have collected over 2 billion kilograms of trash in recent months. Their dedication was recently recognized with the Global Arab Volunteer Award in Beirut, Lebanon, as Mohammed Sheikh Noor reports from Mogadishu.
Young people in Somalia remove plastic and other trash from beaches in the capital city, Mogadishu, as part of a cleanup initiative they started. The volunteers, many with environmental conservation degrees, also raise awareness about how pollution can harm natural resources, which locals rely on for food and jobs. Raqiya Hassan is a long-time volunteer.
We are in the 167th week of our beach cleanup campaign, and this week we focused on cleaning Lido Beach. Our goal is to protect the environment and preserve marine life.
The group was recognized with an Arab Volunteer Award in Beirut, Lebanon in April. Abdisalam Mohammed, the group's deputy leader.
Our dedicated volunteers from the cleanup campaign have participated in international competitions because of the impact of our work, which has enabled us to win international medals.
The volunteers have made significant improvements to the beaches, gradually restoring their natural beauty. Community volunteer Usman Yusuf, who has lived in clean, well-developed cities like Berlin and Munich, encourages volunteers to uphold high cleanliness standards and see their work as a noble cause.
I encourage these volunteers to strive to replicate that cleanliness in their own country. As you can see behind me, some young people are actively engaged in this important work.
The Youth's Beach Cleanup initiative is commendable, but often lacks government support. Yasir Bafo, a senior tourism advisor, explains that this is not a dismissal of the youth's efforts, but rather a result of the government's focus on other pressing issues.
The efforts of these young people lack the government's role, such as offering encouragement or recognition for their contributions and hard work, which they truly deserve.
The volunteers also emphasize the vital connection between a clean environment and community health. Mohamed Shernur, VOA News, Mogadishu, Somalia.
Well, and that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Channels Television has our last word.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. To remember that channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Joka Rogers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.